Get this figure and more at Origami Okami. Use code SWIVEL here to get 10% off your entire order. Hey, my name is Jobby, and it's time to put in my ass. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an anime, a manga, and most importantly, and profitably, a very popular trading card game. And the franchise is so big that it's almost impossible for me to cover it in one video, let alone a 1-minute segment of a video. But what I can say is that contrary to popular belief, I actually did grow up watching the anime series. But hell if I remember it. I never really got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like so many other people did. The anime wasn't quite my thing, and the card game was a little too complex for my tiny walnut brain. So if you were expecting some clever observations about the show, or some forced Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged memes, you're not gonna find it here. But despite my indifference to the whole franchise, I can say that the original anime series has a special place in my pants. The character of Teo was the subject of my first FAP. That wasn't even a joke. I just admitted that to over 100,000 people, thank you so much. The painting and the sculpting on this figure is awesome. The figure perfectly captures the angular art style of the anime, and what little detail there is on it, such as the wrinkles on the clothes and all those studs, are sculpted with precision. But I can't deny, the design on his body is a little plain, but it's almost intentionally plain, because the body of the character is not the main point of this design. Now everyone who knows about Yu-Gi-Oh! Has taken a stab at this aspect of the character, so I can't really add anything new. But I just have to ask, why? I'll tell you why. It's because it looks good on a shirt. That's right, I'm saying that Yu-Gi-Oh! Was designed by a soulless corporate hack. And by the way, did I mention that you can get this figure at Origami Okami and get 10% off your entire order by using code SWIVEL? As ridiculous as the hairstyle is, it's sculpted really well. You could even say that it's on point. And his face also looks really nice. He's a spitting image of the anime character. But there's something not quite right about the facial expression. I don't really remember Yugi pulling off a creep smile. I thought that was Joey's thing. But if you carefully remove his bang, pull off his face, and replace it with his more serious face, now I could imagine the sultry tones of Dan Green coming out of his mouth.
Now cluck like a chicken!
But there's still something not quite right about the face. The eyes seem to be a little too deep into the head than normal. It's almost like the eyes are a separate part or something. But that's because they are. You silly bitch. The figure comes with 3 pairs of eyes, and of course they fit into the other face. And if you wanted to banish your sanity to the shadow realm, there you go.
A chicken! No!
So the figure's got a decent amount of accessories. In addition to the fists, you get a pair of grabby hands, pair of open hands, a pointing hand, and a pair of card-holding hands. And what's a pair of card-holding hands without a card? And this thing is great. It's an accurate representation of how the cards looked in the anime, but there's a part of me that would have liked the card to be a specific card. I mean, sure, this thing is tiny, but I've seen Figma do some tiny stuff. Maybe a piece of Exodia, a Dark Magician. Just, don't lose it. I don't really care. You also get a full hand of cards. Again, it's sculpted very nicely, looks like it did in the anime, yada yada yada, and you get 1 alternate card holding hand. Just stick it in between his fingers, and there you go. You also get this silly thing, and attaching this to the figure is a bit of a process, so let's just fire up that music, shall we? This thing is too damn tight. And here we have the Dual Disc. The Dual Disc was a desperate attempt to make playing children's card games a little more cool looking. But if you remove your nostalgia glasses, you can see that it's another design by a soulless corporate hack. I remember that back in the day, these things were on every kid's wish list, and even mine to a certain extent. But my need for one quickly faded away when I found out that it didn't really summon holographic monsters. I'm telling you, tiny walnut brain. As for this tiny Figma version, it also can't summon holographic monsters, but it's painted and sculpted very well. Unfortunately, you can't insert the card in there. There's already a card sculpted in, and yeah, it's stupid, but in a good way. As for his final 2 accessories, they make the figure feel complete. This won't take long, I promise. And here we have what I can only call a complete Yu-Gi-Oh! The sweeping jacket looks amazing. Even though the idea of using a jacket as a cape is pretty dorky, it's a look that only an anime character could pull off, stop trying. And the Millennium Puzzle looks brilliant. I love the shade of gold. It's still got a bit of a metallic tint, but it's dull enough to make it look like an ancient artifact. And I believe that this is the item that allows Yugi to turn into Yu-Gi-Oh! And as cool as the jacket and the Millennium Puzzle look together, this is not quite the Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't care for in my childhood, so I kinda wish that the set included an alternate torso with his jacket over his body. Then I would be reminded of my first FAP. And like every Figma figure, you can put all these accessories in the included sandwich bag. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for or dreading. It's time to switch. Oh. Well, it looks like you guys beat me to the punch. What an original joke. The head can pivot, look up that far and look down that far. Ball joint at the shoulder, allows for some backwards and forwards movement. Got some rotation, arm moves out, bicep swivel, bend at the elbow, elbow swivel, up and down at the wrist, and if you rotate the peg, you get some side to side, swivel here. There's no ball joint at the chest, but there's a ball joint at the waist, allows for an arcing back and a crunch. The waist ball joint is not the most, shall we say, solid, but regardless of that, every ball joint can be. Ball joint at the hips, allows for some rotation, can't move back that far.
Beautiful spread!
Thigh swivel, bend at the knee, up and down at the ankle, a pivot, and finally, I'm aware that the word is spreading like cancer and I've already done a formal apology, and I could keep saying that it bothers me greatly that a couple of annoying fans are abusing this beautiful word, but it's not gonna do anything, and I accept it. What I'm really trying to say is, you can't kill my swivel! But seriously, if you can, try to stop. Keep it in the family, please. Posability on this guy is pretty dang good. It's just a shame about that loose waist. Unsurprisingly for a Figma figure, this guy is pretty small. Here's Figma Madoka SH Mazura's Godzilla, Master Beast Optimus Prime, and because I don't have another Yu-Gi-Oh related figure, Mecha Shin Godzilla. Why the hell not? And even though I don't have a strong attachment to the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, I can still say that overall, this figure's awesome. Definitely get this figure if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. And if you wanted a Figma Yami Yugi for yourself, you can always get it at, yeah, you know the drill. Origami Okami is an up-and-comer in the online toy store game, and I only agreed to work with them because the store is owned by a subscriber. You've probably seen him around in the comments pretending like he doesn't own a store, or maybe you didn't, because YouTube keeps automatically marking his comments as spam. Come on, man, it's not the most effective form of marketing. But what is an effective form of marketing is the code that you can use to get 10% off your entire order. So check the link in the description, help a fellow subscriber out, and thank you guys so much for over 100,000 subscribers. It's been a crazy adventure and I'm glad that you all could join me. I might do something a little unique for the occasion, but for now, let's just keep on swiveling. No, not in that way. Fuck!